Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, SalvationsElite Josh. We got to my right, Sam, BashBO3 on Twitter. And in between us, as always, you guys are watching on YouTube, is ShadyNero, aka Rex. Boys and girls, what is going on?
I'm doing great, Josh. I am feeling like a rush of dopamine flowing through my veins right now.
Wow.
How about you?
Dude, man, I'm doing almost as good as you. Sam, how you doing?
I can't top Rex. I need to go first before Rex.
I know. Ramps up the...
I know. But, I'm doing
the
good.
Excitement.
Excited. This is going to be a good podcast.
Yeah. I think packed is an understatement for this podcast because we got a lot going on. As you guys know, launch weekend for Call of Duty, the CoD League, kicked off in Minneapolis this weekend. I was there working the event, and a lot of people were watching from home. And it was a really, really fun event, man. And today on the podcast, of course, we're going to be going through it all before we get anything else. You can find us on Twitter, as you guys are watching YouTube, SalvationsElite, BashBO3, and at ShadyNero. And, of course, you can listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and on YouTube if you aren't already. So we're going through some of the patch updates. And then, of course, we're talking about the breakdowns of the Call of Duty League in Minneapolis. And there's a lot going on, man. First of all, before we get into it, I guess we got a fantasy update to get into. For those of you who watched our fantasy draft episode where we went and drafted our fantasy teams, and Sam was playing Rex, and I was playing the default Paris LA Guerillas team, which actually, they kind of showed up.
They did pretty good.
They did pretty good. But Sam beat Rex 688 to 598, and I beat Paris 661 to 498. So the current power rankings are Sam, then me, then Rex.
It's kind of funny how Paris was the last in the power rankings, and they showed up, and I was the last on the poll power rankings, and I showed up. So it's beautiful irony. I love it.
Wow, that's some beauty right there. You love to see it.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
It's because I had so many New York Subliner players, and I don't know why I picked them. Accuracy got like 27 points. That's really, really low.
That's really bad. I mean, considering Sim had like, what, 100
started
something?
him. Really bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Shotzi had like 30 something. So
yeah, that's rough.
Below Shotzi.
But basically, the first thing we're going to talk about today is the patch updates that we got this past week. Earlier last week, just before the tournament, and basically anybody who lost the tournament complained about it.
Yes.
Was the head glitch buff patch, was what pros are calling it. Yeah. They buffed trophy systems. They removed the majority of the slide cancel. Yeah. Basically the effect that it has on your weapon and your ADS time. Yeah. And they decreased the headshot multiplier on all guns. Yeah. Basically the effect was it made head glitches way better. Yeah. You get your trophies more often. They can't slide cancel around the corner and beam you off of it. And there's less of a headshot multiplier, so it makes it harder to shoot you off of it. I know Formal was talking about it, and he literally said M4 was feeling good. Yeah. I wasn't getting beamed in the open anymore, and he felt like he got upgraded because of the patch.
Definitely.
And then the other patch today, which we haven't been able to really experiment with that much, is a slight M4 nerf and a slight MP5 nerf. So far, the reports that I'm seeing is that it's not going to make too big of a difference. Yeah. But it is a headshot multiplier reduction on the MP5, which could help that head glitch buff from previous. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Or how do you guys see it affecting the league long term?
Honestly, I see it as probably a pretty good thing. I don't really know if I knew anybody who was like, no, I like the headshot multiplier, how it is.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was pretty much complaining about it. Yeah. Now that MP5s hopefully are just not what everyone should be using, and that M4s have more of a place.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think it's good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think Crim6 in his post
his interview
probably said it best is that it did fix all of the major stuff.
The timing.
It was just unfortunate that the timing happened to be 2 days prior.
Yeah. But he's right though. He's definitely right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which can be a whole separate.
He's right in how wrong that is, but at the same time, it's not why they lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's not why they lost, but still, it's not a thing that should happen.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's certain players that are definitely going to feel the effects of this and like be upgraded because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is a guy like Methods, where it's like he loves the head glitches, he loves playing those long lines of sight, he loves anchoring, he loves just chilling on the rotations and beaming guys.
Yeah.
And like that type of setup is going to be even better now. And like on a map like Ozzy or something like that, where you can just set up on head glitches.
Yeah.
It's real tough.
Yeah.
It makes it really, really tough now.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Like, I feel like you should be rewarded if you are able to hold a lane, It should be it shouldn't be easy to shoot someone off a head glitch.
Yeah.
With just
it makes it feel more like World War II now.
Yeah.
Where like imagine, remember the London Docks heady at the back?
Absolutely.
You just have those boxes and you could just sit there and play that heady. So the nades are going to be way more important on rotations now, in hard point and like playing together and double nading and things like that. There's going to be so much more important now. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays. But that's kind of why the trophy system buff is interesting, because it's like, man, they're going to, those ARs now on those rotations are going to toss down their trophy system. They're going to sit down on that head glitch and never get off of it. So it's going to definitely make a big impact.
It's going to make it harder to break hard points too.
It definitely will.
Yep.
So that's the rotation. The rotations are going to be even more important than they are now. And so teams that are good on the rotation, I think, will only be benefited by this buff, and it'll hurt teams that try to rely on breaking hard points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at with the glitch or with the patch right now. Yeah. We'll let you know if the MP5 or the M4 patch that happened today is any more significant than what it seems to be. But at this point, it seems not to be too crazy.
Yeah.
So we'd all expect the M4 and the MP5 to still be the main two guns.
Yeah.
So that gets us into the juice of this podcast. We're talking about the weekend, breaking it down. We're going to talk about the format first, and then talk about the pro teams and the performance of teams and players. Because we wanted to talk about the league as a whole first, and then kind of go narrow with the teams. So, first of all, what are your guys' thoughts on the weekend format, like the event, how it's set up, the broadcast, everything else? What are your thoughts on it as a whole, and what do you guys think?
Well, this is the one time that they're going to use this format, right?
Right.
Yes. I mean, it was okay for what it was. I didn't really I never really built an opinion for it, because it was just like, well, this is going to leave anyways. Almost like it wasn't, everyone just gets their 10 points for winning and leave, which was fine. I still think the tournament style is going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I came into this weekend just thinking of it as a preseason, right?
I think a lot of teams did.
Yeah, this is just kind of, this is what games are going to look like. This is what matches between teams are going to look like. The format is going to change. Like it's going to go to a tournament. Obviously, there is a lot of things that could go better. We're going to get into, but for a preseason opening franchise league for Call of Duty, I was excited. I was happy. The homestand. We saw hype for Minnesota, which was amazing.
Yeah, it took Friday was a little weak, but it was there.
Yeah,
but it definitely grew a lot on Saturday.
Well, from being there, what I'll say is that Friday the attendance was definitely low.
Yeah.
But then by Sunday night, it was jam-packed. So
that's awesome. And then Sunday, and then I loved seeing Rokkr go out there and seeing these players who pretty much they don't get those fans having those fans.
GodRX having fans.
That's what's cool.
Yes, GodRX having fans, and GodRX did really good this tournament too.
He did really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's what gets me really excited about. I mean, I was just as big of a skeptic as anyone about the homestand format and like the home away city based format. Yeah. But this is the positives, and like being there, I met a handful of people that were like, yeah, I've never been to an event before, but like I'm from Minnesota, like I decided to show up.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I'm like, oh, cool, dude. Like, good for you, man. That's awesome.
That's what we need.
And so the local advertising, if teams do it right, I think it could start developing the scene on its own. Yeah, I totally agree. The homestand thing and the like what it seemed like a successful homestand, and like creating a fan base for a team that would otherwise have a very, very small fan base was really, really cool. Yeah. And so
well, the fact that a small team that like before just wouldn't have fans now has fans cheering for them, but like they're the majority,
Yeah.
So
and they're celebrated at their own homestand.
Yeah. So I think homestands are the way to go, especially with esports. You're franchising. I think that's the way to go with it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I totally agree. I think it was really, really fun. I mean, in my opinion, is that like based off what we've seen so far, it's setting up to have a good chance to create parity and like fan bases, like really,
like so it's like not
strong
99%
fan bases.
OpTic, you know?
Right? Yeah, exactly. OpTic of the past. So that's what I was really interested to see when it came to like the homestand specifically.
Yeah.
I guess the next thing would be like when it came to like the broadcast. I guess we talk about YouTube. So I was sitting in the venue on Friday, still not knowing where this was being streamed.
Yeah.
Like, I was mind blown that I didn't know where this was being streamed on Friday, the day of the tournament. And finally, they announced that we're going to YouTube Gaming, or to YouTube, and so was Overwatch. And so it was a paired deal with Activision, which is really interesting. And, I mean, now we know it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that, because in the past, they've had the Alpha stream, the Bravo stream, the Charlie stream, and so we'll see how that plays out. The viewership seemed pretty good, though, for, not advertising it literally one bit before the tournament started. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about that? How do you guys think it can affect the scene? And that versus Twitch or another, like, mix or anything else? What are your thoughts?
I think YouTube, can bring a whole new audience, right? If it's advertised, you go to the front page of YouTube, there's a CDL, launch weekend. That's what I saw, like, first. That's pretty cool. Let me click into it. Like you're saying, too, with Twitch, we had Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. Can we have those separate streams on YouTube? Will there be, like, a organized place where it's like, okay, here's the CDL weekend. Here's the first stream, second stream, third stream. I don't know how that works on YouTube streaming. I mean, this was literally my first time
watching a YouTube
stream, right?
Which is real. I think a lot of people had that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it'll be fine. I think there was some quality issues too. Like the coloring seemed off. Like
it was.
It seemed more gray than usual.
So watching,
I don't know
it
if that
person,
was the game or like,
So watching it in person, I was like, "Yo, this is sick!" Like it looked incredible in person. And then I went back and watched the VODs, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it just looked really bad. Like my first...
I'm wondering if they just didn't have the right settings for their stream.
I think so. I mean,
I've seen way better streams than that on YouTube before, so I'm not sure exactly what the issue was there, but I'm thinking it might have been an MLG... my bad.
Yeah.
A CDL problem. A CDL problem when it came to the stream.
Because then Lion Man tweeted out his like mock-up of what he thought it should have been versus what it actually was. His was like so colorful, crisp. And then the actual one was just like it was just like it was bad, man.
It's weird how they use like the watered down. I mean, first of all, the CODcaster in Modern Warfare is kind of watered down colors. Like that is part of it.
It's weird.
Yeah, Rex. I mean, what was your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I know some people. I think Parasite on his stream like has like some sort of like filter he has for the game.
Okay, yeah.
And it makes it a little bit
more vibrant
to look at. Yeah, more vibrant.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
I think YouTube. I can't tell if it's gonna be growing pains or if it really is not the way to do it. I think if it was on Twitch, it would have gotten more viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really? Do you think?
I do think. Just because that's where everyone knows where it is.
I mean, the past 3
years.
It's
literally been there for
the past 4 years,
Yeah, and so, like, the people who have followed it are still followed, probably, and they're going to get that notification, they'll tune in. If YouTube highlights it,
that's what I'm
like, homepage, and you see, like, these streams, and it says
the upside's there.
That's the upside. CDL is there.
Yeah.
I feel like it could do really well, but if YouTube's not giving it exposure...
Then it's just...
That's kind of my thought. So first of all, the viewership peaked at I think 104,000 during the OpTic Huntsman match.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, considering last year CWL Vegas peaked I think at 159,000 or something like that. And so for a non-tournament to peak at over 100,000 on a new platform that wasn't advertised even one bit, like that's pretty quality. And I mean, you go back and look at the VODs. All the VODs have basically 1 million views, and so one advantage is the VODs. Like definitely. I saw FaZe tweet out a graph. I don't know if you guys saw that as well. I mean, it was on the COD Reddit as well about viewership for esports and how 83% of viewership from esports is from VODs after the tournament is broadcasted. And so YouTube makes VODs way easier to find than Twitch does. Twitch hides them for some reason.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big advantage for YouTube. And I think being like the premier league on YouTube, like them and Overwatch, the only big leagues on YouTube, YouTube is going to do more to push it than any way Twitch could.
Yeah.
And I can rant about this all day, but I think another thing that I saw Gary Vee talk about as well with the upside of YouTube was that like your average casual gamer may not know what Twitch is or may not, and definitely the average COD person doesn't go to Twitch to watch COD. I mean, you look at the COD viewership, you know, you're getting like 5,000 views a day on Twitch or like, you know, 25,000 viewers concurrent for COD on Twitch per day.
Yeah.
But you go to YouTube and YouTubers are getting 500,000, a million views on videos. Yeah. And so I think the upside is there for the YouTube community as a whole, more on YouTube than it is on Twitch. Even though when it comes to esports, most people prefer watching it on Twitch. I can totally get that because I think the experience is a little bit better. But at the same time, I think YouTube can create programs that can maximize the viewership experience over time. And so I think in the long term, I really believe in YouTube as a streaming platform. And so that's why I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm a little biased because it only can help me as a content creator being on YouTube.
True.
And so I do get a little bit excited about that as well. But because it's driving like 100,000 plus people to YouTube to watch these events. So that gets me pretty excited. But I think it's a pretty good thing for the COD scene as a whole. I mean, basically either that or Twitch is an exclusive deal. I mean, you could have maybe thrown Mixer if they really want to throw that much cash or something else. But I don't know. I think overall I'm pretty excited about it. I think it could be a pretty good thing for the scene as a whole. So
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to it. One thing I thought was really cool was the uniforms in game for teams.
Yeah, that was nice.
So I mean, I don't know if you guys knew that, but like it was a stream feature. They weren't wearing those uniforms in game.
Oh, for real?
Really?
They were overlaid stream features.
Wow. How's that even
I don't
possible?
know. I have no idea how that's possible.
Wow.
But like, the
that's
players
crazy.
could still choose their own operators, but then it would automatically on stream show them as wearing jerseys.
Well, okay, so like I was wondering if that was a requirement, like for like. Did they tell the pros like, "Hey, make sure you wear"?
Yeah, so no, they didn't.
That's what
really
I thought too.
Yeah,
wow, I did not know that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I didn't know
that's
that
some
until
technology.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. I had no clue that was how that was going until I talked to somebody about it, and they're like, "Yo, that's actually a COD, like a stream thing." I'm like, "What?
Interesting.
That's crazy." So that's pretty cool.
Is that like in Call of Duty you can do that?
Apparently, like they have like special features for that.
Okay.
So they've at least been working in some ways with COD to make that possible. Which is pretty cool.
That was cool. Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed like being able to, see the teams have a unified, uniform, one away, one home. Like
I think it helps the viewing experience.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I did too. And I mean that's the other thing we didn't even talk about that. I mean, they added in the packs. DLC packs in game, which is just ironic that I have to pay to advertise the CoD League inside the game that I'm paying to advertise the CoD League. Yeah. But I mean, I'm all in. Yeah, that's awesome. I'll do it.
I'll take it.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. It for sure is.
It's not bad. Yeah, like
I wish they had like more of like a way to get like in-game tokens or something, or COD
currency,
points.
COD points.
If there's a way in-game to like somehow accumulate those,
earn them more,
and so that you could either work your way to getting them, or you can just pay the money and get the points.
Absolutely,
I agree. But I think overall that's a pretty positive thing, and it's pretty unique for all the other esports. So. I'm down for it.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Because I think this is the soonest we've ever gotten team camos in a Call of Duty, right?
Wow.
I mean, like literally,
what got team camo like on the operator? That's
World War
skins. Awesome. And and camos, everything.
Yeah, World War II was Photoshop copy and pasted team skins.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, these skins, the weapon camos aren't that
actually
much. They're not that great.
Yeah.
But
the team operator stuff
and the full on
operator stuff on stream looked really good.
The operator skins are cool. Even in game, they're pretty sick. So
which you can only hope that they're gonna like add more for each team as time goes on.
And hopefully this is successful. So that's why I'm buying it. I'm like, this is my vow of support to the CoD League. Like,
absolutely.
Please, this is gonna make money. Help us. Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's overall pretty positive for the scene.
Good stuff.
What do you guys think? Give you two things. What do you guys think about the player press conferences? Mm-hmm. And what do you guys think about the walkouts pre-match? Like at least once per event, the walkouts? Because I kind of love both of them.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think the press conferences are awesome to get the thoughts right after they play.
Spicy thoughts.
And not get a tweet later on, Like I think it's cool.
The GG's tweet.
I know some, I'm guessing some players are not going to like losing. They have to go out and do a press conference, which we saw Crim.
But no player in any sport does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then and then the walkouts, I thought they were awesome. I really want the crowd to get more into it because it's
Illy's walkout.
Illy's walkout was legendary.
No, Illy, that was a good it
was
worked.
great.
I don't
No,
think
it
if
was
people
awesome.
know.
So funny.
I don't know if
Yeah.
people
So
know
funny.
the meme. Like he always wears his hoodie. And that was
Yeah.
going around
Yeah.
Twitter like crazy. So when he did it, I was like,
Oh
oh, that's sick. Like
Goodness.
he's trying something.
The
Like
school shooter walkout.
Oh jeez.
I saw that on COD
jeez,
Comp.
dude.
It was like
people are
Illy
roasting
walking out.
him, dude.
No,
I felt
and-
so bad, but like, and then the
Nah,
second
dude,
time
that
when he
was
walked out,
hilarious.
he
Yeah,
didn't
it
do
was
it,
great.
and I wish he
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah, no,
Stick your
was
guns.
Great. But like, we need more participation from crowds. Like, we need to hype them up.
I agree.
Because everyone who's saying cringe about the walkouts,
I hate
are
those people.
stupid.
Yes.
You're dumb.
Those are sick.
You are dumb.
Okay, Pristini's like I steal your girl like
Yeah.
sliding was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to get into it. Like,
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to be cool. Walkouts. Whatever. Just enjoy it for
Embrace
what it is and embrace it and pump up the players because it can only mean better for viewership.
I'm
So.
all for anything that like separates COD from other esports and like
Yeah.
highlights our personalities because
Yeah.
let's be honest, they're so much better
Yeah.
than like basically any other esport when it comes to
Absolutely.
personalities in
Yeah.
COD.
Mm-hmm.
We have great
and-
personalities.
And
And Abel really embraced the walkouts too. I mean, it's
Yes.
great. Yeah. I
so
enjoyed
good. So good.
Yeah.
And like the signs and everything,
Yeah.
like those were hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about this.
Yeah.
And like the players embracing and the players embracing the drama has been
Mhm. Yes.
top notch.
I love it. Yeah.
Top notch.
Right.
It's
So
great.
Rex, what are your opinions like on the press conferences and everything else?
Love the press conferences. I mean, I love the walk. Anything that's like, the press conferences is nice because like you guys said, you can hear them afterwards and what they have to
Right
say
away.
when they're not in like right after they win or lose. They get in, like a mic in their hand. They have to speak for 2 minutes and then get out of there.
Yeah.
Where it's like they have their time to really like explain their thoughts and things, and it's more like a chillax environment. I liked them a lot. It gives you a lot of insight, I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I the ones that I saw, they actually gave like really good answers for like things. Unlike your like, it's a way better alternative to like the on stage. Like, how do you feel about
How you
this?
feeling?
Or
Good.
how are
Right.
you feeling?
Yeah.
It's a way better alternative to that.
Plus,
And
we get the whole team too, right?
Which
Not
is
just
cool.
one player.
which is
Yeah.
cool. And they can
Mhm.
bounce off each other. And like,
Yeah.
I think as teams get more comfortable with it, it could
Mhm.
be pretty awesome. And I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
I'm hoping they stick with it. So it seemed I'm not exactly sure if that's like a CDL requirement yet. We haven't really heard.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it is.
It should be.
And
And
because we've
stick
only
to the walkouts too. Especially
Yes,
if you're the
I
home
want-
team.
Yes.
I
Especially
want
if you're
the
the home team,
walkouts.
have those walkouts.
Yeah.
Also, Minnesota's intro to their.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool too. Like, if every team had something like that, that would be sick. But I mean, that's kind of into the walkout. So
yeah.
yeah,
Gary
definitely
V
keep the
went.
walkouts.
Gary V.
Oh,
went
Gary V.
hard.
Keep it go hard.
The
just
whole
hope-
Iris-
tournament. I mean, there's some things that were like didn't work, but like the way he did it, he just went full throttle into
He
it,
did.
and he just figured out what's not going to work, what's going to work, And I really respected that, honestly.
Yeah.
There were, there's moments where like, okay, not good, don't do that. But I respect how he did it.
I mean, it's tough to host the first event.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
you're going to have problems.
You're basically setting
Yeah,
the
especially when you
precedent.
haven't even
Yeah.
like you're not really known to be involved in esports,
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is nice that they get a second one. Like
Yes.
that's why the team who hosted the original, like the host or the intro
First one.
Yes,
gets to host another one. So
Yeah.
that'll be cool. It'll be fun to see them again in Minnesota
definitely.
and see how that goes down. So I'm looking forward to that. The venue was sick, by the way. It had a wraparound bar around the whole main floor, which
That's
was
pretty
really sick. So
That's
it was a
cool.
cool, like really, really cool venue.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing about like the viewership experience was how do you guys feel about like Lottie, Teep, and Nameless as like the hosts, and like what were your thoughts on that versus like the past 2 years and
I was
viewership experience?
personally really happy to hear Lottie. To see Lottie was coming on because she was on the Halo desk.
Yeah.
For anyone that watched Halo, I understand. The whole bring back Katie. Katie was great.
Oh yeah, she was.
You can't blame Lottie for taking an opportunity. Like
She was thrown in the fire though.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
that's not her fault.
Right.
But yeah, I personally enjoyed Lottie. Teep was great. I love seeing
Yeah.
him back on. I think he's just a very smart mind to have on the analyst
And
desk.
now that he's
I mean,
coached too, like
yeah,
I think the insight is really
I think it's really good. And then also Nameless, I have no qualms with Nameless. I think he's a great guy. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any strong opinions towards Nameless.
No, yeah, cool.
But
Rex, what are your thoughts?
I really like Teep on there. I like it when they have Mert come to the desk sometimes. Anybody
Yeah.
who's like essentially an ex-pro player and also is eloquent,
mhm.
I feel like is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in regards to like Lottie, I mean, if we're honest, she made mistakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't say it was an A+ performance.
But again, it's her first time hosting a COD event. So she's still. We don't know even when she like was given that job to know that she needed to study up on COD sort of thing. You know.
Yeah, I don't know when she was hired. You know, like was it like last?
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But she did say like, who do you think's gonna get to the finals of the tournament when this event was not a tournament, you know? And I thought that was like a glaring. It's like, oh, can't do that.
No.
And the Nameless kind of saved it, but I think she'll get better, and I think she'll be okay.
Only up from here.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. Like, I think down the road she's gonna be. I mean, she was really good in Halo. I mean, I don't watch Halo, but I enjoyed her as a commentator when I watched some Halo events. Mm-hmm. So I thought she was really good, and like, it's cool. I really, really like Katie. I thought she was awesome and really good. But if you're gonna replace her, I think Lottie's a great replacement. So. Yeah, I totally agree. Teep brings it.
Awesome,
I think he's going to be fantastic. And then Nameless, you know, he says what needs to be said to create a response. And so Nameless is all about, he's totally down to say whatever it takes to like create entertainment. And so I think it'll be a good combo throughout the year. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we can talk about the concert if we really want to. Dude. That is something that does not need to be at home events.
The Shredders!
My word. I mean, I applaud the effort to put on something.
Yeah.
But you also got to know your audience. And you got to know, like, you know, what's going to work, what's not going to work.
Like some local band or like a local rap group. Like,
it just, I don't know.
That's what I mean, where it's like Gary Vee went head first into this. Like, so he was just throwing out all the stops and just seeing what worked. I think he probably saw that didn't work, and they won't do that. I mean, I've never been a fan of the like in between matches, like
live performances,
or even like the all-star, like where they have this one they had Michael B. Jordan and all those basketball players.
But they got canceled, which sucked.
They got canceled, but I'm glad it was canceled because I think I think a lot of other people think the same. Is like we don't really care to see that very much.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I don't think it's for us. It's more for like the casual guy. That's like to get the person who's never watched esports before to be like, or never watched CoD Esports to be like, oh, what? Michael B. Jordan? Or like, yo, Karl Anthony Towns is playing? I'm gonna tune in. So
I guess it depends how they are entertaining about it. If that makes sense. They're sitting there and just kind of like normal. And like they're not really getting into it and really putting a lot of like passion and effort, I guess, into it. It's just like, all right, well, these guys are just average players that are famous, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. What are your thoughts?
Part of my problem is like we've already seen like scheduling like conflicts. Like you're already pushing, like you're already going past your allotted time.
Yeah.
Just give us Call of Duty. Like just play Call of Duty. Maybe put on stuff for the people that attend the event.
Yeah.
You know, like something extra, but like we were going past like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like at one point, it's like, do we really need all this extra stuff? How about we just play
Call
of Duty? But I mean,
to be fair, what if they're built into the schedule to be buffer time? Like maybe you can remove them if you need to, or like, you know, if they're built in like that, then maybe they make sense because like it allows you to like buffer the time. So if you're ahead, you can do it. If not, cut it. Yeah. Which is what ended up happening with this. So I'm okay with it in that sense.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, there's definitely a time and a place. Like, Wale is going to be in London. Mm-hmm. And, like, he's a bigger name than the Shredders. Yeah. But,
the Shredders.
Like, I feel like if you're going to do these types of concerts, they have to be, like, all in. Like, you're getting, like, Post Malone to come.
Mm-hmm. It also depends on the fans, like, how many fans are there, too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because concerts are just weird and cringe. And people aren't getting into it.
I think I kind of like a max of 7 people up front.
Like
who are like probably like 9 beers in, you know.
And I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for the Shredders in that way too. It was like they couldn't get anybody. It's like, how are they supposed to perform when no one's doing anything and they're supposed to be hyped up?
That was so painful.
It's not really, because it's not their fault.
Why was he dressed like a Jiffy Lube employee?
If everyone was really into it, like if all the fans like were like got into it, it wouldn't have come off as cringe. And I bet most people would be like, yeah, they're average to decent, no one would be like, they're the worst. Cause I don't think they're legitimately like terrible artists,
No.
It was just like the wrong people for the wrong crowd.
If But any concert, like when the openers come in for like the person you're there to see, you're not hyped because it's just some random opener. Like again, I think if you're gonna get someone like musically, it has to be big name that everybody knows at least some of their songs.
Exactly.
Like you're getting Drake or Post Malone, you know, like.
Yeah, Overwatch League champs. They had Zed and I think it was Zendaya come in.
Okay.
And that was, I mean, I was at that event and that was really, really good.
Okay.
But there's also a ton, like we filled the stadium, like it was a ton of
like
people.
15,000 people there.
Yeah, like we were up in this. Yeah, so it was fun to have that there, and it worked there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's tough with a small venue because you're going all in and you're really kind of putting yourself on the line there. But I guess the last question when it comes to the viewership is the CODcasting third person usage. I know they kind of dialed down on it after the first day, which. Thank goodness.
Amazing. That first game.
The Ozir cave.
Bad.
Yeah.
I swear it must have been 15% in first person mode. The rest was just literally in third person or overhead, and you can't tell what's going on. Like it makes no sense. But
I don't think over the shoulder has
like
any place.
Right away,
really quick.
People were complaining. They were like, okay, we'll change it. Like the whole story of this opening event was over time to get better, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta be like the majority of the time in first person view. Like there's just you can't do overhead view. Like it's just this game was not meant for it.
Well, what do you think? Like when's the place to use third person in your opinion? Like Rex Sam, like what do you guys think?
It made sense like on the opening, like when the hardpoint was locked.
But then they free cam it, which is kind of I think the free cam's
cool. But then like when the action is going, you gotta be in first person mode.
Yeah.
But like I get the opening, like showing like the breakoffs, right? Like right away, like where are they going? Like the first 30 seconds you can do it.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the time you gotta be in
I'm with you there. What do you think, Rex?
I would prefer to just watch like almost like an overhead view at the first 30 seconds more than third person. I can see how third person could work
like
there.
The
it wouldn't be like
Skycam.
It's like a Skycam over the top. You can see how they're converging towards that first hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So over the shoulder could work there, but I still feel like the Skycam is going to be better.
Yeah.
So honestly, over the shoulder,
I thought
it just has no place, at least in my opinion.
I thought there were a few uses of the free cam where they zoomed out and then like would show like the rotated hard point and like maybe they get in front of the opposing teams, like the opposing teams running into the hard point.
Yeah.
And then you switch back to the player right when the action starts.
Yeah.
Which I can see that working. But I agree. Like it's very limited. Like they should use it a few times per game.
Yeah.
To give a nice little switch up perspective.
10% maybe. Yeah.
Like if maybe 2 or 3 players are running into a tunnel together or like a hallway, then you zoom out. Besides that, I'm totally with you. They overuse it, but they did better. And I think Sunday was totally pretty fine.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. So finally, we can get into the real meat of this episode, the reaction to the players, the tournament, the play, and everything else. So break it off the rip. Let's stick with teams first, and then we'll talk about individuals. So we'll go kind of top to bottom there. What were the biggest surprises in your opinion, and what went down?
Dallas. All right.
Okay.
Now that one's out of the way.
Just right away.
Dallas.
I was going to say, like,
looks so bad.
Let's start off with Dallas.
Except for their S&D against Huntsmen. But everything else was just atrocious.
I thought for sure Shotzi was going to be, like, coming out super strong. He did not come out strong. Which I get. Like, I know that, there's been talks, like, he was the burger of the week. Shotzi was.
Oh, no.
But.
Yeah, he had a 0.7 KD on the weekend.
Yeah, like, it is crazy. He had the hardest debut probably of anyone. He played the 2 best teams now in the CDL. Playing
on main stage in your first event. Yeah,
I can't give him too much like crap, but yeah, he did not come out. Illy did average probably, right? Like what was
0.85.
0.85.
Better than what people. He did worse than people expected, but it wasn't like
wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't horrendous.
But statistically, throughout the game modes, he was definitely significantly better than Shotzi.
Yes, absolutely.
But people still expected Illy to do way better than he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think Empire is going to be fine. Give him a couple more.
I agree.
Shotzi can only get better, right? There's no way he can get worse than what he did. So he's only gonna get better. The S&D looked pretty good against Huntsman. but they got 3-0 against FaZe. So, I don't think like they're in trouble. I think they just had a bad opening weekend.
Yeah,
you had a couple players that didn't perform well. I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to be fine. Because again, they did play the two best teams, so
yeah,
they went 0-2, but it wasn't it wasn't like it was a good 0-2. You lost the two best teams in the league, right?
I mean, if they had somebody other team scheduled, they'd be 2-0, sitting fine, and nobody would be talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So
so I totally agree. I mean, they have a bye week. They have time.
Yeah.
Or they don't have a bye week. FaZe has a bye week.
FaZe.
But they have a week and a half here to figure things out, practice a little bit before London. I'm excited to see what they do. Rex, are you kind of on that same boat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not counting them out yet. I still think they're going to end up being really good. And to be honest, I'm chalking it up with Shotzzy and Illy is almost nerves. And I know a lot of people are screaming, Shotzzy was a champion in Halo. I think Shotzzy will show up next. I think he can get better, and I think he's going to show up eventually. So I don't count him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree. I have no long-term problems with Dallas at this point. Yep. I mean, if they go 0-2 at London though, then I'd be a little worried.
Yeah.
I mean, although their group is not easy. I mean, they've got Seattle and they've got the Huntsmen in their group and the Guerillas. So that's no easy group.
No.
At this point now. So
I
we'll
mean,
see what happens.
Seattle did not.
Seattle's pretty easy.
Seattle should be based on what we saw.
Right.
Dallas should be able to take it from Seattle is not a FaZe. Seattle is not a Huntsman.
Oh, 100%.
If they do really bad against Seattle, then they're gonna have a long time that they're gonna have to grow. I feel like, or they're just not gonna be good.
No, I agree. So I mean, the next team that I'm was obviously really surprised about was New York.
Yeah.
I mean, that was tragic.
Yeah.
Their performance there, they got 3-0'd by London off the rip on Saturday, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't even close.
No. Accuracy, dude.
Accuracy. I mean, Temp didn't have a good event either. No. It was rough all around the board for everyone on that team.
Yeah.
Basically, none of them looked good.
It just didn't look like a good team.
I think they have a long ways to go before they're a top 4 team.
Yeah. I just don't know what happened to Accuracy. He was so good in World War II, and then
he was decent in Black Ops 4.
Black Ops 4, and then he just
it's so tough. It's 2 matches. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they played a pretty tough lineup themselves.
Yeah.
London and Atlanta. So
FaZe.
Anybody playing FaZe is going to be in a tough spot. But they did take a map off FaZe. I mean,
which is more than the Empire did.
And it took a Dom off FaZe. So they looked horrible in the Piccadilly search, though. I talked about it in the video. They looked so bad in Piccadilly. Attach said they had never gone through strats for Piccadilly. And I was like, why aren't you vetoing it?
Yeah.
What are they doing? If you've never gone through strats on Piccadilly, why are you playing Piccadilly?
Because they're not. I bet they thought FaZe probably hadn't practiced it either.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Maybe they just tried to, instead of eliminating their worst map, they tried to eliminate FaZe's best map. Yeah. And it backfired on them big time. We might be seeing Doug Sensor Martin sooner than later.
You never know. You never know.
Nah. But, yeah, it's going to be tough for them moving forward. I'm not convinced at all about them at this point now.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about them heading into this event. And now after seeing that performance, I mean, they're slotted to play against Paris as the kickoff game in London next week. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be tough. They need to show up and surprise people. Mm-hmm. But that group's doable because they're with London, Toronto, Paris. Yeah. And so, I mean, they can make it happen next week.
I think they could.
And rebound, so we'll know.
Yeah. Paris, the next surprising team, 2-0. I mean, everyone had them at number 12 for power.
Everyone had them last.
And they proved them, wrong. They 3-0'd Ravens, and the Ravens 3-0'd Subliners. So, you're thinking Paris is miles ahead of New York, right?
Yeah.
And then they go ahead and what was it? The first one was.
Oh, that was actually the biggest surprise of the whole weekend for me. Was Paris beating London?
Yes,
that was by far the biggest surprise.
3-0 too. I mean, they smashed them.
Because after after London 3-0'd New York, I'm like, oh
London
wow,
is the real deal.
London's the real deal.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be a top 4 team all year long now. Like I was already bought in.
Yeah.
I completely drank the juice, the hype juice.
Yeah.
And then out comes Paris, on Sunday and just smacks them 3-0.
Which could it have been nerves on the Ravens side from like facing against their European rival and
or
trying
like
to beat them?
Nah, dude.
A
Or do you
false
think
confidence
Paris was just that good?
I think it might have been a false confidence. Like London is like, oh, this is
maybe
gonna be
a false
so
confidence.
easy.
Because like I mean literally like you would have thought the Ravens would have 3-0'd Paris, but
Right.
wow. I mean it was crazy. Kismet came out with fire, and Zed is fantastic. So
The hard points were fairly close. I mean, the hard point was like a 40, like a 35 point.
it was.
So it wasn't like a blowout. It was on Ramaza.
S&D was close.
And the S&D was 6-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Still,
Dom was within 20 points or something. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 points.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some massive blowout. And that's not what you'd expect. You'd expect London to at least hang in there.
Yeah.
But that was incredibly surprising. I think that whole roster looked just really solid over the whole weekend.
They're really good.
And I'm feeling really good about Paris moving forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you guys at with Paris? Like,
They just looked solid. Like they did not look like a team that had only been scrimming for 2 weeks prior to the event. Like they looked like they had a good chemistry. They knew where they were going. I mean,
yeah,
I'm all in on Paris. So
yeah,
I'm not convinced they're a top team or even like top 5.
Yeah.
Right now I'm putting them more middle of the pack.
I agree.
But they could definitely change that and make me think they're a top team after this next event.
Well, I mean, what's weird is just what made it so surprising was like, they barely beat OpTic, and we just all assumed OpTic wasn't going to be an elite team this event.
Mm-hmm.
And then out comes Paris against London, and they just 3-0 them. Like, because they went round 5, they went game 5 with OpTic, and it was like a pretty close series back and forth on all the maps.
Yeah.
Except for our club that was 6-1. In the first search of the series. Again, overall, I completely agree. I think Paris is going to be a solid team, and like unless it's just a thing where like teams just completely underestimated them.
Yeah.
I think Paris should be able to be fairly competitive. I mean, the Australians came to play. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And Kismet looked just as good as anybody. Zed,
really good,
like as a whole, Den Shocks, Luca, like really looked solid.
Yeah.
And at times, Shocks like made big time plays.
Yeah.
And looked like a guy who can carry a roster when he needs to. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe it was just an issue where these guys in the past just weren't getting the practice they needed because they were European and Australian to really find their groove. And now living in the United States, getting consistent practice the past 2 weeks against really good teams. Now suddenly they found their groove, and that's definitely a possibility. So watch out for Paris, baby.
Absolutely.
Watch out for Paris.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still a lot of teams to go through. I guess let's just transition straight to OpTic.
Yeah.
I mean, Rex probably doing his little celebration victory laps, already calling the OpTic sucked. But again, my prediction for OpTic was all based on long term, and I'm not done with OpTic at this point. I'm not giving up hope on this roster.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think Kenny, Slasher, and Dashy showed that they're still really good players.
Mm-hmm.
The question marks are J-Cap and Tej.
That's what I've been saying.
They looked horrible.
I just don't understand what happened to TJ.
I know. We were talking about this before we started. Like, TJ on Rise in World War II and last year looked like a very competent player. And like a good player.
Yeah.
Like a very good player at points in the year. And so far this year and all the scrims that we've seen and now at this event, I mean, he's looked like a bottom tier player.
It just makes you wonder, like, is his head even in it? Like right now, is he chalking up this whole season because he didn't want to be on OpTic?
I mean, Slasher literally tweeted like, "Man, I missed 4v4."
Yeah.
Like, what does that say about one of your teammates?
What player are you thinking of cutting there, Slasher?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You literally tweeted, "Man, I missed 4v4,"
Yeah.
and maybe that was just a completely just personal thing, like whatever.
Like,
but at the same time, it comes off like he's really pissed at someone. But I mean, J-Cap had a .79 on the throughout the two games. TJ had a .77. Slasher had a .89.
Yeah. And if I'm being completely honest, they actually did better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, they still didn't look great, but they past my expectations a little bit.
Again, man, there was moments there where Dashy, Kenny, and Slasher, where you're like, oh, there they are, But TJ and JCap could not get on track.
No. JCap, dude, I'm telling you, man, he's not. He's either gonna retire soon, or maybe he'll find some reignited passion for the game.
He only had 19 kills per 10 minutes, and I mean that was tied for worst of the event with any player.
Yeah.
And it just showed in the respawns, like in Dom, they looked terrible, like just really bad.
Yeah.
And both TJ looked really bad in Dom, and JCap looked really bad in Hardpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, how is this roster gonna rebound? And all of them looked bad in Search.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not sure exactly how this roster is going to rebound quickly. I think it's going to take a long time. And so I'm expecting this team to get back on track eventually. But if there's a team that's ever going to make a roster move, it's going to be OpTic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, is that where you guys were at? Like,
I feel like OpTic is like a toxic. Like, I feel like I feel like the way they talk to each other, I feel like they're really toxic to each other, and I feel like that's why they're not doing well. It's just like the vibes just are not good. So if somehow maybe they get a reawakening from this event, and they're like, okay, guys, we got to be friends. We got to be nicer.
Do something different, because that was not working.
Yeah. So I'm sure they're pretty frustrated right now. And talking about frustration, another team that is incredibly frustrated right now is Seattle, who, I mean, a lot of teams had as their fourth best team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that wasn't a rare pick for people to have them as their fourth best team.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they look like a bottom tier team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They lost to the Mutineers 3-2, and then they lost to Toronto 3-2. So, I mean, after the first event, everyone was kind of hyping up Florida, but then Florida lost to LA Guerillas 3-2. So, it's looking really bad for Seattle. Like, it was a similar situation with the London Subliners thing where, like, they lose to the Mutineers. You're like, oh, the Mutineers are the real deal.
Yeah.
And then the Mutineers lose to the Guerillas.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no. Yeah,
it's just weird.
I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the Seattle surge?
That just made no sense to me. Because you think just by the names alone, they should be fine. Just people who are competent in Call of Duty. Obviously, there was something really wrong with the chemistry on that team. Something's not clicking between roles or something. I don't know what it is. Octane obviously still showed that he's a very strong player.
Octane looked good, yeah.
By far the best player on that team right now. They just could not get it together. I don't know what that would be, just from looking at them, but man, they did not look good at all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad to see, just to see Octane, Karma, Apathy, those guys just not be good.
See, that was the thing. I mean,
Apathy, I think, went positive.
Yeah, he did. He had a fine event. So did Karma.
Yeah. Apathy did okay, too. I honestly think it was Enable.
It was Enable and Slack.
Enable and Slack for sure, yeah.
They
I feel like Enable was their biggest problem.
It wasn't a good event for them at all. I mean, of course, most of the time when players are costing, there's a reason why. It's not just because they're bad. It's usually a team problem.
Yeah, the roles are weird.
The roles are messed up or something's just not working. But I mean, at the same time, like Enable had the worst plus-minus in Search and Destroy at a -13, and Slack had the second worst, or the third worst plus-minus in Search and Destroy at -11.
Yeah.
So that's not a good sign for any team. And like just overall, it was just really, really rough.
Yeah.
It felt like they were really out of place. And I think them and OpTic are the teams that are most likely to make a change sooner than later.
Yeah.
And with Seattle's academy team playing pretty well at this open event, you're like, well, I don't know.
Maybe they take some players from there.
Maybe dipping into that well at some point.
Absolutely.
I mean, Enable and Slack are going to have a ton of pressure going into their next event. Like,
absolutely.
If they open up with the Dallas Empire as the second match of London next week, I mean, it's gonna. I don't like their odds, you know, and so we'll see what happens. I mean, then they're gonna either play LA Guerillas or the Huntsmen. You'd expect the Guerillas in round 2. Yeah. So I mean, that's like a must-win game for them if they end up playing the Guerillas. That's gonna feel like a must-win for Seattle.
Yeah.
Because if you lose that, you're gonna be feeling horrible moving forward, and they're not gonna be at Atlanta, so
yeah, they're gonna have a bad week.
Though that like month leading up to the LA event,
Yeah.
like that's where you might think the first change could happen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure riding on Seattle moving into London, which is going to be really interesting to watch. And I'm not confident one bit that they're going to make it happen. Because it sounds like they're on full tilt. And with the guys on that roster, like, you know how Karma can kind of just shut down if he doesn't feel like they're going anywhere. And that's what happened on the OpTic team.
He just completely closed down. He was not,
It's just a weird situation when you're like locked onto a team now for years. Like, you have a multi-year contract, and these guys are probably going to be your teammates for years. Like, you'd want to hopefully figure something out.
Definitely. But
Enable and Slack, man, they got a lot riding on them. Yeah. Is there what's another team that you guys want to talk about or are interested in, or like what's a surprise for you guys? LA, the Guerillas.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Guerillas in my mind should be 2-0 right now. I like if
the hard line,
if that hard line,
Guerillas would have won, but
take that out of the equation. If they were to continue where they were going, that would have been a win for them.
Oh, can we
that was a major momentum change for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, for them to be 2-0, I mean that's a big deal too, because again, they were 11th on everyone's power ranking, right? Right behind Paris. So
1-1, yeah.
I mean, like Lacefield was showing up, Aches was not showing up. He was
Aches got smoked.
Terrible.
That's what I'm worried about. Because
Aches, yeah.
He got smoked.
Yeah, I'm shocked by their performance with Aches. With the way Aches played, like they should not have gone 1-1.
Yeah.
With the way Aches played, but that just means that he surrounded himself with some good teammates. So that's we can see Aches' mind there. He at least knew good players to surround himself with. But if he's not performing well, is he going to be on that team? Long? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not sold at all.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not saying they're an amazing team. Yeah. I thought they were for sure going 0-2 though.
I know, yeah.
That was my prediction.
Yeah, the Rokkr loss is iffy.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get caught up on this this hardline thing for a second, which was a big problem for the tournament.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know what actually happened with this, so what happened is the patch that went up 2 days ago, they temporarily unbanned specialist streaks.
Yeah.
But what they did is they restricted all the items that are banned in the CDL rules inside the game itself. But what they forgot to ban was hardline. So even though in the CDL rules, hardline was banned,
the game didn't.
The game did not ban it. Yeah. But the problem is the pros GA streaks anyway, and hardline doesn't work on specialist streaks.
Matter.
So it literally does not matter. The biggest problem is that the pros just forgot that hardline was enabled, and so they didn't even think about it. And so that was what happened with Lacefield. And that's what happened. It happened in the open bracket probably like 6 or 7 times where we had to forfeit a map because of that. And it was definitely a problem over the weekend, and some teams were so pissed because of it.
Rightfully so. I mean, should they have to worry about not choosing a certain perk? Whatever.
My biggest thing is you just can't blame the CDL. Like, you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Because, like, what if they don't GA the streaks, and then they use them and they have hardline on?
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to obey the rules, and you have to forfeit them. But, like, it really sucks.
It sucked.
Yeah. And it's all it's all Infinity Ward's fault. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that real quick because it was just so stupid. Mm-hmm. And, like, I get why Aches was pissed about it and why the Guerillas were pissed, because it literally did not affect the match one bit.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
One bit.
Yeah, that didn't.
I mean,
yeah.
But it really, really sucks.
I wouldn't say it's all Infinity Ward's fault. Like, yeah, that should have been banned, but also it's your job as a pro to know that rules, because nobody else did
to get it right.
You're the only person who did it.
Right.
Yeah. I'd get it if it gave him like the slightest of a
but because of the GAs it didn't,
But like it literally like that match would have been the exact same if hardline was not on. Like it you can't deny that.
It sucks.
Sure.
It just sucks. Really sucks.
It definitely sucks for him, but
I get it. Like, you can't make an exception because down the road there's going to be an exploit thing where it's like,
somebody always exploits.
Yes, exactly.
The rule. So you have to maintain the rules.
So I do agree with the decision though to forfeit it because you
really
just have to.
It blows.
Yeah.
Going back to Aches, he got toasted. He had a .68 KD on the event, and again, KD. We're talking a lot about KDs and stats. It doesn't show the whole picture.
Yeah.
But when you look at the full stat sheet, you can get a pretty good idea of how somebody's weekend went.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was only averaging 20 kills per 10 minutes in hardpoint, which is like the bottom, the bottom 5% of the league. A .62 KD in hardpoint, a minus 50 plus minus. Minus 50 plus minus. So he was as bad as Simp was good.
Yeah.
So Simp was a plus 50. If that tells anything.
Oh, man.
So either you can have Simp to make you that good, or you can make Aches to make you that bad.
Dang.
I hope Aches isn't watching this because he might murder me, but
he might.
It was just rough overall for Aches. Did not go his way. He was okay in domination. I mean, you'll give him that, I mean, there you go. He only had a minus 10 plus minus in domination.
There you go.
That's pretty decent. And then a minus 11 plus minus in search and destroy. So just a rough go at it for Aches.
Absolutely.
I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, he's the captain.
If your captain is doing terrible, do you keep him on just for the sake of him being a smart player
and a name
and a name, or do you take him off and I don't know where you put him. It just depends on how much his mind is worth to you if he's not a good player.
So let's go through the KDs in search and destroy for the Guerillas. Lacefield 1.2, Aqua 1, Saints 1.26, Decimate 1.5, Aches 0.52. Oh no! All their plus minuses were either 0 or positive, and then Aches was minus 11.
Minus 11. Oh gosh.
So that is rough.
Yeah.
You hate to see it. That is the tough situation in any sport, is when your captain is the worst player. Mm-hmm. For you Nebraska fans out there, Adrian Martinez. But no. At the end of the day, they're going to be a tough situation. I'm going to be very interested to see how Aches plays the rest of this year. Because we thought if there was ever a game for Aches to be good at, it'd be this in World War II. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he ain't showing up.
Yeah, World War II. I mean, he won champs, right? But
he ain't showing up
this way. So
yeah, no, for sure. I guess we can transition a little bit. I wanted to talk about kind of like an updated quote unquote power rankings. I know I hate updating power rankings this early, but let's give all of our top 4 teams and our bottom 3 teams at this point. Yeah. Because the middling teams are still kind of all middling, right? But we'll give our top 4 and our bottom 3. Rex, fire away.
All right. Well, FaZe number 1.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Huntsman number 2. Yep. And then number 3.
And this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah. Number 3. People, I think, are going to roast me for that. I still think Dallas Empire could be really good. Yeah. I just think they had a bad event, to be honest. So I think I'm going to put them at number 3.
Okay.
And then number 4.
4 is tough.
Who do you put at number
4? 4 is so tough.
Doesn't make any sense.
I almost want to say Paris, to be honest.
I was just going to say.
I was like, I'm thinking Paris.
What?
Rokkr, maybe.
No.
Ravens looked really good against Subliners.
So did.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, I know it's really tough. The 4th team is. That's why I wanted to do 4, because just the 4th team alone is a really tough discussion.
I think my gut's saying Royal Ravens.
Okay.
Even though they lost to Paris, I still feel like Royal Ravens will bounce back and could get better and beat Paris later on.
Yeah.
They looked really good against Subliners.
I thought, I was like, oh, Ravens might be top 4 team, and then they lost to Paris. I was like,
that's the thing.
Things have just gotten really out of hand here.
I know. So Sam, are you with them, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, top 2 undoubtedly FaZe, FaZe Huntsman.
Is there any argument that you can make for Huntsman to be better than FaZe? Because I know some people in the comment sections on my videos have been arguing for Huntsman. I know there are some fanboys out there that love that argument, but
I don't think so.
If they played tomorrow, would you still favor FaZe?
You have to look at the way they were playing. FaZe looked unstoppable. They just looked like a rolling train. Right?
In Search and Destroy, especially.
Yeah, and you have
assassins,
and you have Huntsman who did pretty terrible against Empire on Search and Destroy. So it's like you got 2 amazing respawn teams. FaZe has the upper hand in S&D, so it's how do you?
Yeah, that's how I see it too. Are you in the same boat, Rex?
I mean, I power ranked FaZe number 1, but
Right. Yeah.
I could see Huntsman doing well just because I feel like FaZe, like Maniac, like popped off, but I still feel like Formal is probably the better AR, and the subs, Simp is probably the best sub, and they have a really good sub lineup, but Huntsman's subs can keep up with that.
Oh,
maybe not
for
be
sure.
as good as Simp, but they can be in that range, and I just think the ARs for the Huntsman could beat FaZe's ARs, and I think that's why Huntsman could win.
Right. I mean, I think I would give the edge to Huntsman in a hard point, but I'm not. Dom's an X factor. I don't trust. I don't love Dom either way right now. I think teams are still trying to get a hang of it, in a full on competitive setting like this. Yeah. So it's tough to predict Dom at this point. We saw this event. I didn't feel like any team was a favorite in any Dom. Again, I think when it comes to the X factor, search and destroy, I agree. Okay, so you got your top 2.
Yeah.
Are you with the Empire thing, or where are you at with the power rankings?
I do get it's so hard because Empire again
they looked atrocious. You can't deny that. They looked really bad.
Yeah, they looked really bad against the top 2 teams, and they had 2 players. One player played really bad. The other player you would have thought would have played better. Didn't play as good. Like Shotzi played horrible. I don't think he's gonna play horrible every single event.
I agree.
Like to me, I still do see Empire as a top 4 team.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put them as 3rd, but but that 3rd and 4th is just
that's the problem. It's so muddy.
To me now, it's 1 and 2 gap,
big gap.
3 and 3 and 9 maybe. It's just weird, but I do agree with you, Rex, though, about Ravens though. They looked phenomenal. Part of me wants to say that Paris game was a fluke. They did look really good, so to me they would be a top 4 or 5 team. I don't know who else you would say besides them.
Paris.
Honestly, you can say Paris, but then
you're saying Paris.
I know. Yeah, but then you're saying Paris, who struggled against OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
And struggled against.
They struggled against OpTic Gaming.
So and
then they 3-0 Ravens. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a big circle. This team beat this team, which beat this team, which lost this team. It's just weird.
I don't know, man. So okay, I agree with you. FaZe.
Yeah.
Huntsman, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big gap right now between those two and then Empire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Empire at 3 as well. I think the upside's there.
Yeah.
They're gonna get back on track. I have full confidence they're gonna be fine moving forward. So I'm gonna stick with Empire at 3, even though it's pretty controversial, I think. Because there's definitely an argument for Rokkr. But then I think in my mind, Rokkr has to be 4. I mean,
I don't know. The LA Guerillas game, if we're being completely honest, if we let it play out, Guerillas would have won that series.
Maybe.
They would have. No, Guerillas would have won that series.
I think they would have for sure. They had momentum.
They had so much momentum. Then they got the hardline thing. It took a map away. That's
such a vibe
debilitating.
Killer. When you win a map and then get told, by the way, that's not your map anymore.
No,
you got taken away.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough, but I don't think.
And the crowd's booing you. So
they still had to play the match. I don't know. But are you really feeling good about London at 3, who got 2-3-0 by Paris? At least the Rokkr took care of business against the Ultra.
No, I can see Rokkr being a top 4 team too.
Yeah. Because Godorex really is a fantastic player.
Godorex, my guy.
Good, yeah. Man. He was good. So yeah, I do see that. It's just hard to put them as top 4, when you think that they should have lost against Guerillas, But I can see it. I can definitely see it. It's just so hard. Who do you put as that 4th spot? It could be a handful of things.
Yeah, I think in my rankings, I think I would go just barely Rokkr at 4, and then Paris and London tied at 5.
Yeah, honestly.
Where do you have Mutineers? I thought Mutineers looked okay.
But the Guerillas is such a tough.
I know it's a tough loss to the Guerillas.
Yeah. Again, the rankings are nearly impossible. Let's go bottom 3 teams right now. All right, Rex, who are your bottom 3 teams?
Seattle. This is hard. Ultra.
Yeah.
And
Subliners.
I can't decide between OpTic or Subliners.
The Subliners is such a weird argument though, because it's like
it really
they lost to Royal Ravens and they lost to FaZe.
It hurts my head because I'm like, you have Zuma, you have Attach, you have.
They can't be that bad.
They can't be that bad, but then you watch them play and you're like,
they're bad.
They're bad.
So bad.
They looked really bad, and they played against Ravens. I mean, FaZe, okay, but the Ravens, they got 0-3'd, and then Paris 3-0'd Ravens, and then.
I mean, they got literally smoked by the Ravens. Like, it wasn't even close.
No.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, who's your last team? Just pick one.
Subliners.
Okay. All right, Sam, who you got?
For me, it's Seattle, OpTic, and probably Subliners.
Not Ultra?
Really?
I was impressed with some of their players. I was impressed with Metals. Metals was really good.
Well, to be fair, they outperformed any expectation I had. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I was impressed that they obviously beat Surge. It would be Subliners Ultra on that third worst. But for sure, Seattle and OpTic, they just look so bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
There's no denying that.
You have OpTic lower than I do.
Interesting.
They didn't look good. They definitely
did.
And it hurts me saying that with Dashy and Slasher on that team, but it's the truth. Like, they just did not look good.
Yeah.
You could substitute Ultra in the third one, but that would be.
Yeah, for me, I'm giving Subliners a little bit of slack, just because their first match of the game, they came out flat for whatever reason. They got smoked by London, but at least they looked competitive against FaZe.
They took a map off FaZe.
Yeah, they look competitive.
That's true.
So like when I watched that match, I saw a team that could be decent.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna put them in my bottom three. I think I'm gonna have Ultra and Surge in my bottom three. I think you have to. I think so. Ultra you put it like third to worst, and then Seattle might be at worst.
Yeah.
And I might just throw the Guerillas in there and then have OpTic as the probably fourth worst.
Yeah.
So I might go Guerillas at third worst, and then how in the world did this happen? And then Ultra at second worst, and then Seattle at worst.
I know.
I don't know if I like that.
You'd have never thought.
I mean, they lost both their matches 3-2. Like, do I really put a team that lost both their matches 3-2 at worst?
I know.
I don't think I can do that. It's almost impossible. It's like it's basically an argument that makes you look stupid no matter which way.
Yeah,
you go.
but who'd they get 3-2'd by?
Right, the Mutineers,
Ultra
and
Ultra. Mutineers. An Ultra we have as one of our worst teams, so they're worse than one of our worst teams.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, like if the Ultra would have came out and like played the Rokkr really close, then maybe you're like, oh, okay, well then maybe they're actually a pretty middle of the tier team. But like they didn't look really competitive against the Rokkr.
No.
I mean, they took one map off of them. It was the S&D, which can get fluky. Like they got smoked in the fourth hard point. The other matches were pretty close though. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough argument overall. I mean, we're gonna learn a lot more. We're jumping the gun probably on the power rankings. Yeah, I mean, we need to see more COD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get into it, I mean, this is already running pretty long, so I think we're gonna cut it off here and then talk more about this on the Monday episode. We're gonna talk a lot about the AM scene on the Monday episode. Talk about the London predictions and preview that tournament. I'm so pumped that we can actually say tournament.
Yeah.
And then we could probably talk more about some individual player performances in that conversation and talk about those teams moving forward into the tournament as well. So
right, and hold on, real quick.
We didn't even talk about the AM scene.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Well, just to get this out there now, the champion of that won the AM tournament was Team Singularity.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna go more into that for the next podcast.
Yep, they made the run last year at Champs, and they have some of the same guys on that roster. Yeah. We'll go in on the AM scene next week. Yeah. But we just wanted to cover the most important, the most hype news this week. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah. This episode ended up going pretty long. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoy the longer episodes, drop a comment down below. Maybe we can extend some of them longer and be more down to make them longer. But as always, guys, I'm SalvationsElite. You guys can follow us on Twitter, SalvationsElite, BashBO3, and ShadyNero. And this has been the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
See ya.